everybody, welcome back to our channel Autistic Multiple Life. This channel was created to erase stigma around autism and dissociative identity disorder and other conditions in dissociative spectrum and other type of neurodiversities. Honestly, this wasn't the video that I was planning to publish today because I was trying to make a video about our life with littles, but accidentally I delayed old version and new version just program have some problems, new version doesn't publish, so I made new video, and this video would be about autistic adults and what it means to be autistic person if you are adult and what kind of stereotypes about autistic adults exist. Okay, honestly, it's another topic that I don't understand at all why this kind of questions is unpopular in Google or in YouTube, but I try to understand what people interested in about autism, and one of the more popular requests is autistic adults or autism in adults. Okay, so we are autistic. We live in autistic body, and now we are asylum seeker in UK, but before that we were living in Russia and in Ukraine. And in Russia and in Ukraine, people don't believe that autistic adults exist. They think that autism is kind of child condition, and when many autistic people became adult, diagnosis changed from autism to schizophrenia, and I don't know what it is because they need to use international classification under the law, but it's some kind of Russia, Ukrainian, post-Soviet Union exclusive classification. So yeah, the first stuff that autistic adults exist. Even in many countries it's very difficult for autistic person to gain a real diagnosis, and autistic kids became autistic adults. So they're still autistic. They couldn't overcome the autism. When you read something that some autistic kid became indistinguished by their peers, became like their peers, it means that these kids started to behave in a neurotypical way, but their brain doesn't change, so they're still autistic, even if they can like actually play neurotypical role, okay? And many times when parents try to make some autistic kid indistinguished, it's really dangerous stuff. This kid spent many energy on try to look normal. It became a habit. This kid would have problems with understanding their conditions, their problems, their psychical reaction, and wouldn't have many energy for normal life, for healthy autistic life, I mean for everyday tasks, for work, for hobbies. They would spend too many energy on pretending and acting. Yeah, so when you read that some kid became not autistic because of ABA or stuff like this, just don't believe it. It's about acting, it's about pretending. Autistic kids became autistic adults. It's the first stuff. The second stereotype that exists in the world, that all autistic kids, all autistic adults like autistic kids, and I think it's two separate type of stereotypes. First, it's about that all autistic adults have kind of child's mind, child psychic, and I don't believe in this and age mind theory, because all kids are different, completely different, and their skills and their minds are different. So it's not just ableistic, it's ageistic stuff. When you said that it kind of a 30 years old person but mind of 5 years old, because 5 years old kids are different too and have different kind of understanding, different kind of skills. But yeah, autistic adults could be like could have some development difficulties. Sometimes they have learning disability, but learning disability is completely another diagnosis. It's not part of autism diagnosis. It's just as a condition that person with autism could have, that autistic person could have. Okay, and yeah, some stuff like everyday tasks like I don't know, cleaning, cooking could be more difficult to autistic person because of many questions from many energy going to pretending, like I speak before, to I don't know, executive function, sensory problems and stuff like this. And yeah, sometimes for autistic adults could be difficult to understand some social norms, like for autistic kid. Sometimes for autistic adult could be difficult to find a work, find a job. And when we're speaking about finding a job or going to doctor, most more times it's not just about problems that this autistic person have. It's more about society. It's because our society is deeply ableistic, and all these guys with whom you're speaking when you try to find a work, all those guys knew about how proper neurotypical specialists need to behave, how proper normal specialists, and all this norm are neurotypical norm. The same with medical system, the same with police. They knew non-verbal and verbal norm for neurotypical people, but autistic people at first they express their emotions different way. For example, sometimes they're not looking in the eyes, they're steaming more and stuff like this. And second, they just don't understand some neurotypical norm to communication. It could be difficult for them, for example, to go into doctor because they don't understand what's going on. They don't understand to whom they need to go. They don't just copy other patients. Okay, and so maybe if clinics would have a proper example what you need to do if you came to clinic, what you need to say, it would be more easy for autistic person. Or this clinic or police station or I don't know, sometimes shops have don't good sensory environment. And for example, if they would have a silence room, it would be easy for autistic guys. Okay, so it's not just about, so yeah, autistic people have disability. Autistic adult like autistic kids who would have problem in everyday lives, but many times it's more about inclusion, it's more about society than about autistic person at first. And second stuff about these autistic people who look like children. Yeah, second, when neurotypical people believe that it's some kind of one norm to be a proper adult person. So, for example, adult person need to look and in A's, have this A's contact with, I don't know, their friend. It's Western norm. For example, in Middle Eastern countries, if you look in someone A's, it means that you think that you are superior to this person, or you are boss of this person. Okay, so if you, for example, kids couldn't look and parents says, pupils couldn't look and teacher says, and stuff like this. So it's Western norm, but in Western culture is one type of adult behavior and proper behavior. And the same with small talk, the same with how you need to speak about your interest, the same even about interest. Interest is just a hobby. But for example, if some autistic people more times have interest, that's not about some kind of fashion, not about some kind of stereotypes, but about what they really like. And for example, some autistic adults could have interest, have special interest in, I don't know, Lego cartoons, and in our culture it's not adult interest, but it's really bullshit, like I don't know, like male and women interest. It just interests don't have age, okay? People have age, but not interest. It's not such stuff like child interest or adult interest. If you like something, it's your interest. Yeah, and another point, I think last point that I want to speak about when I'm speaking about autistic adults is the stuff about you are not like our kid. Most time when we are speaking with parents of autistic kids, because we understand experience of autistic kids better than neurotypical specialists or neurotypical people. Some parents could say you are not like our kid. Sometimes this means that you have some kind of skills that our kids don't have yet. Okay? Yeah, it's really true. I'm not like, I don't know, autistic son of women with whom I argue in social media. But you are not like your 5 years old neurotypical neighbor. If you are neurotypical, it doesn't mean that you need to be like your, I don't know, 2 years old nephew of your best friend. Okay, so yeah, when people became older, they have kind of, I don't know, they get kind of new skills, they have kind of new knowledge. People change when they became older at first, and second, all people are different, and you knew that it's completely normal if your neurotypical neighbor it's not like you at all. But you write that you are not like my kid because you're not like my kid, so you couldn't be a proper autistic when you see autistic person. But if I say that you are not like, you are not a proper neurotypical because my neurotypical neighbor like parties and you don't like parties, for example, you would understand that I say something really silly. Okay, so yeah, we are not like your children in the way that we all have different personalities and our skills change it, but we are like your children in the way that we have the same neurotype, so we have many our problems could be common problems, and many our way to understand this world could be common. Yeah, and for example, sometimes see when parents who try to understand LGBT teens try to find adults, gay or adult transgender people, and I've never seen that they said that you are not like my kid, so you are not proper transgender, because they understand that all transgender people are different, and they understand that common stuff that their trans kid and this adult transgender person have is, I don't know, for example, gender dysphoria, for example, identity, for example, transphobia. The same with autism, we are all different. And yeah, it's the main stuff about autistic adults. All autistic adults is different. Some of us have families, some of us have jobs, some of us have I don't know. For example, I knew autistic people who work in the government, who lobby some laws, and I knew autistic people who couldn't find any job at all. I knew autistic people who have 6 children, and I knew autistic people who are child-free or have kids, but it's really difficult for them even with one kid. I knew autistic adults who want to be normal and normal neurotypical, and I knew autistic adult who don't trust and don't understand neurotypical. I knew autistic adults who have, I don't know, many sexual partner, and autistic adults who never have sex. I knew autistic adults who are sexual, and I knew autistic adults who won't have sex very often. I knew autistic cis people and autistic trans people. So autistic adults are completely different. Yeah, some of them are non-verbal, some of them are verbal, some of them are obviously autistic, some of them are not. They have different skills, different special interests, different style of life, like just any other person, any other people. Okay, yeah, it's extremely bizarre that people in our time don't understand such simple stuff. So thank you so much for your attention. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel to make it more visible. See you next time. Bye.